Hello, how you doing today? Or hey, welcome in. I'm gonna give a few seconds for people to jump on the live if you do, and while you're coming and drop or you're watching from in the comments. Um, how's the weather? Are you having a nice day? How's your week going so far? While we wait, we want to talk about something real quick. A lot of people are using AI wrong. They're typing basic prompts and getting basic answers and saying AI doesn't work for them. It's like buying a gym membership and only using the parking lot. Um, Now, what I do and what I teach at Promptify is prompt engineering. Um, that can sound complicated, but it literally just means knowing how to talk to AI, so it gives you something you can actually use. Today, I'm going to show you in a topic, and by the end of this, you'll be able to do this yourself in about 5 minutes, and everything I show you is inside Promptify, and it's free to start. So for today, to kind of summarize what we'll talk about for today is package your freelance expertise into a small, clear offer. So, here's the thing, right? So this vague inquiry becomes a clear small offer. So you're just clarifying an offer, or if you're gonna say something. Oh, excuse me. Somebody gave an inquiry, and then you can turn that into a clear offer. And the inquiry could have been vague, right? But so here's the thing, right? Let me just say this again. This vague inquiry becomes this clear small offer. Now, here's the thing. Let's say it's what I could do, what the client receives, and what I need, what I can observe, and what we still need to decide. So you're putting a bunch of structure around things that might need to be established, or things that have to get done, or things that have to be decided about this offer, regarding this offer between you and a customer, right? Or you and a potential customer. Because they'd have to take up the offer to become the customer. They'd have to convert. So, but is your offer going to help convert them, right? And can you clarifying these things and establishing these things within the offer help them to actually decide that it's a good idea to convert? So as usual, so all of the shorts for today, I did a bunch of short form videos. All of those make up an entire system, and so I'm going to showcase all those prompts and read them off and explain each part of the system. But before I do that, I'm going to explain the process. So here's the thing, right? Just checking over the outline real quick. So the objective is clarity before a quote, not an AI generated proposal. So the quote being discussing pricing and all that blah blah blah. But the objective is making sure that they understand exactly what they're about to pay for. If I'm going to put it in the most general way possible, this could be in the onboarding process. It could be before it. You don't have to follow this outline, but the thing is, usually if people are coming to you and just throwing their money at you, they already know what you're probably already been advertising, already been in existence, already have testimonials said about you, probably have a high rating, and these people already know what you do, and they just know that you're going to do it for them as well. And you probably have a website and they clicked add to cart and buy, or they've already talked to you or somebody on a team that you manage, and they're already being onboarded, and they don't maybe have to hear too much besides like maybe if there's wiggle room about negotiations and things between them getting the service or a product from you, but they're already just coming forward saying, yeah, I'm ready to pay, because they already heard about you, because your business has a good reputation. Like I say, business rep, not you individually. You're in an individual reputation. That's up to you how you want to present yourself. But if you have a business, it's important for that to have a good reputation, because what happens is people have to trust businesses only exist if they're making money, right? And then people have to trust the business to pay them. So you need to have a track record of being on point, however it matters. Does that mean that you deliver your product and service properly? Does it mean you do it on time? Does it mean you do it with good customer service? Whatever things that a customer can say, oh, I like them. I'm going to even go and say something good about them in a review, or say it online, or spread it through word of mouth. Like, that matters, because what happens is the business only gets paid and attracts more customers based off its reputation. So if enough people are saying something bad about it, then those businesses go out of business. Now, this is a random segue, but I'm just discussing the importance of, like, an offer being structured properly, and if is there good things about, like, is there things about, like, you giving clarity before a quote? Yeah, that can very much help, especially if your business is not very established. But it's also good, like, um, what's the word, for having good behavior regarding something, or it's a good strategy. It's a good strategy to make sure that the person is clear on what you're going to do to help them before they hand over the money, their hard-earned money. That, yes, that's why people will get upset if they hand over their hard-earned money and then you don't deliver, or there is some type of thing unclear about what you would be able to deliver, or you bad customer service, whatever. Yeah, these people will be like, oh, that money that they worked hard for at their job or whatever they do, and they're sitting there all those hours, racking up that money, probably don't even get paid weekly, maybe bi-weekly. Maybe it's very, very difficult work, or maybe it's just like they'd rather be doing something else than working, and they're going to pay you. At least give them the value, so they'll be felt like their money was spent proper. Their money was spent well, right? So it matters. Uh, and then, if we're gonna just get right back to the point, there's something else I'm gonna say, but I kind of forgot. But we're gonna get back to the point of clarity before a quote. It's good to do that. You just show up and say, "Here's how much we charge." You don't want them to have to say, "But wait, what is it that you guys do?" Or, "What is it that I need to have some clarity on what you do first?" You don't want it. It's okay if that's how the conversation goes, but you rather just get the clarity out the way first, so that they can feel heard and listened to and understood, which actually helps make people want to say good things about you. Like, you're giving them a good experience before they hand over their money in exchange for value. You're making the whole experience so good that they're going to actually have a positive thought about you in their mind. They might come back and buy from you for the rest of their life. Who knows, right? Extra segues didn't really have to do. So let's get into it. So for the first short I'm going to talk about, it's going to, excuse me, just give me a moment. So it's going to explain, these are internal options. I choose what fits my expertise and capacity. I'm going to show you in the actual prompt and the result of the prompt. It's going to talk about these internal options, and then you choose what fits your expertise and capacity. And I give an example as well that's going to be used for all these. For the second short, a deliverable is a thing the client can picture. I delete any line I have not actually confirmed. So you're grounding everything in reality with, here's what I can actually do and what I can deliver. Product or service. Maybe you have testimonials to help showcase what you can actually do, but you just be honest. Obviously, shouldn't really say that. That's like common sense. You don't want to tell people that you're gonna absolutely 100% be able to do something, and you don't know that's a fact. You're setting yourself up for them asking for a refund and you getting a bad review, and that person will probably cuss you out after, who paid from you. So it, not that any of that might matter to you or not, but like, if you want your business to actually grow properly and keep its reputation, so you can maybe get that customer to come pay again and get other customers because they're getting real value from you. Like, don't do stuff like that, obviously, as I say within these videos whenever this topic comes up. Short 3 is, inputs are not busy work. They make the work possible. Request only what you need. That's pretty self-explanatory. You're being direct about what exact inputs you're putting in, and they're probably very, very necessary, or they're absolutely necessary, right? And request only what you need further explains that same point and the thing I just said. Short 4 was um, so visible pattern, possible clarity, impact, and question. So notice there's no revenue diagnosis and no fake promise. Revenue diagnosis should be explained before, obviously, in the onboarding or before the anything even starts. They should be aware of exactly what's going to happen. And then what happens is if you say, like, let's say and this is me just extra segueing, but just further I'm not showing the screen yet that shows the actual prompt, the example, so I'm trying to paint the picture and make it make sense. For example, let's say I tell somebody, like, listen, I have a method that gets results, and I'm gonna get you. I know for a fact I can minimum get you this level of results. If you sign this contract, and let's say I'm doing a service based business, and it's for a month, and I'm a marketer, and I know for a fact I can get you this amount of traffic and this amount of sales and this amount of publicity and growth and whatever on on a specific social media platform or across multiple or on Google. Let's say I know this for a fact, right? And let's say that number is not high enough for them, but at least here's the thing. I'm not going to tell them a higher number than what I know I can do. Like if I have a bunch of testimonials showing that I get a certain threshold, I could say, listen, here's the type of results I've gotten for people who are in your niche, who had this type of structure going on and this much momentum, and here's how it looked from within the first month, and here's how it looked in month 2, and here's how much growth we got them. There's people who made only a few hundreds, a few thousands of dollars of profit within that time span, and there's people who made up to 10,000s in profit and more. And these people who made that much more, maybe they had more going for them, like maybe they've been in existence longer, maybe they've already established things. But here's how it would look over time, right? And no, I'm not gonna go tell you I'm gonna make you 100,000 in profit, because I don't have that type of I can't get those type of results. So if you don't like that, like if you're a very, very large scale, so that's the thing. I might not be used to working with super large scale companies that they're used to making 100,000 a month, right? But I'm not going to tell you that's what I can do. I'm going to tell you that I can only get you this to that. I'm going to tell you the threshold, or if there's an exact number, so that if you don't like that, you can say, all right, I'm not, thank you for telling me. When you get up to this level, call me back. But I won't be doing business with you right now. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna go tell them I can get them results I can't get, because then that's when they can be upset. They can leave a bad review. They can go on forums and say whatever. And they can report it. And if there's anything legal based, like if they say they need a refund and I didn't deliver on what I said in the contract, now they can actually argue that. But if I told them, no, I can only get this much, and then what happens is I'm going to keep away the people who don't want those results, and then the people who want those results, they'll come to me. Oh, you can get me a few hundreds to a few thousands. Well, I've made no money so far. So if you can get me at least some and grow with me until I can even get to this point, like, I'll be happy to work with you, right? See, then you bring in all those people, probably businesses that have been in existence for less time, right? But you're honest. This is me just further driving that point home and just giving an example. I don't think I've given specific examples like that before. So be honest. And then so for the fit short, so that was me discussing. Notice there's no revenue diagnosis or no fake promises. That's me addressing that point, and also the visible clarity, the possible clarity, impact, and a question. I was addressing all those things when I just said that. So can you show visible patterns in from testimonials or past work and screenshots, and you showcasing with, well, don't show any of the data. They don't show people's names or their, but show actual results from things you've actually done, right? And you should have a portfolio of that. Obviously, anytime you get results, you save that in a folder and you never delete that. That's how you show people what you can actually do, and with factual evidence, and then which will make them want to work with you if they can see you can actually do it. You don't just tell them, they can see it, obviously, right? That helps. And then possible clarity, impact. You're addressing what's possible, and how it's going to impact them, possibly, right? AKA the threshold. So now on to the next point. So for short 5, the follow up shows the scope conversation honestly, including what is still open. So that's just kind of self-explanatory. You following up and talking with them about literally anything regarding this, and maybe what's still open to decide. And then finally, it'd be like, you confirm pricing, you confirm dates, you confirm client details and permissions, and your actual capacity, aka this is literally the onboarding process, or after any clarifying discussion has taken place in the onboarding process. These are now you confirming things before you start the project with them, or before you start doing this thing where you're going to give them a certain product or a certain service. So now I'm going to flip to the screen and show you the entire system. So I'm going to read through each prompt like as per usual this week, and then explain how the answer was very much regarding the exact prompt. So using this inquiry and my listed services, draft 3 bounded service option outlines to review. For each, it's going to be outcome, included work, client input needed, and confirm a scope line. Do not set prices, do not set timelines, do not set results, and do not set terms. So, like I said, is you're drafting 3 bounded service option outlines to review. I'm going to read from the example. So option 1 is content repurposing. The outcome is turn existing content into multiple content concepts. The included work is review the voice notes, client questions, and screenshots, identify reusable ideas, organize them into short form content concepts. Then there's client input needed, the voice notes, the client questions, and screenshots. And then confirm scope is confirm which existing assets are included in the repurposing work. Option 2 would be content planning. So option 1 was content purposing. Option 2 is content planning. In this example, the outcome is organize existing content into a clear content plan. Then there's included work. Group the provided material into topics and formats, including short form posts and carousels. The third is client input needed, existing content assets and preferred formats. And then 4 is confirm scope, confirm which content formats and source materials are included. I'm going to scroll down to get the full third option. Excuse me, I scrolled too much. Just give me a moment to get back up the screen. So option 3 is carousel creation. So that's the third option. The outcome is turn selected existing ideas into carousel outlines. The included work is review the supplied material and structure selected ideas into slide by slide carousel concepts. And then client input needed, source material, and the ideas to prioritize. And then confirm scope, confirm which source material and carousel concepts are included. So as I said, This addresses draft 3 bounded service option outlines. And then for each, there has to be an outcome. There has to be included work. There has to be client input needed. And there has to be a confirmed scope line. And it did not set prices. It did not set timelines. Did not set results. And it did not set terms. And as you can see, that's exactly what each option did from that prompt. Using the example that I had input. So turn these confirmed service notes into a plain language. Turn these confirmed service notes into a plain language. You receive deliverable outline. Use only the notes. Include format, contents, and review moment. Do not add benefits, guarantees, tools, or turnaround times. The notes is review 10 LinkedIn posts. Identify repeat messaging gaps. Give 5 priority recommendations, deliver a PDF, and discuss it in one call. So for the answer, it says you receive format PDF, one call to discuss it. The contents are review of 10 LinkedIn posts, identified repeat messages gaps, identified repeat messaging gaps, 5 priority recommendations, and then discuss the PDF on one call. And regarding the prompt, that addresses turn these confirmed service notes into a plain language, receive deliverable outline. So this is the outline here. Obviously, the notes was, and then it says use notes, include format, contents, in review moment. Do not add benefits, guarantees, tools, or turnaround times. And as you can see from the notes literally took exactly what it was spoken about. So the note says review 10 LinkedIn posts. That's in the contents area. It said identify repeat messaging. Let me just scroll up so you can see the prompt and the answer. So it said identify repeat messaging gaps. You can literally see that that's the second part of the contents, from the notes into the second part of the contents. And then the next thing was give 5 priority recommendations. That's the third part of the contents. And then it says deliver a PDF and discuss it in one call. So the format is PDF, because they asked to deliver a PDF. And then it says discuss it in one call. So that's in the format. And that's also in the review moment. So I'm going to move on to the next prompt. It says create a client input checklist from the service outline. What's separate is required before kickoff. Use useful context and items to confirm. Do not request information not needed for the described work. Service outline, and then you paste your approved service outline. So all right. So here's the thing. So it says in the answer, it says required before kickoff. Provide the 10 LinkedIn posts to be reviewed. The useful context is no additional context is specified in the service outline. And then items to confirm is confirm the 10 LinkedIn posts are the posts to be reviewed. Confirm that the deliverable is a PDF, and confirm that the review will happen on one call. So, and then based on the prompt, said create a client input checklist from the service outline. So you've separated required before kickoff. There's useful context. Okay. And items to confirm. All right, I'm just making sense. Do not request information not needed. All right, so all right, give me a moment. I'm gonna put the phone down So I made a mistake. I was flying through this earlier. I'm going to resend this prompt and then have it fill in some information for me. And then I'm just going to have to reread that. Um, okay. All right, perfect. So I thought I made a mistake there. Did not make a mistake. So, or did I? Let me just check something real quick. Excuse me. Sorry for the wait. Um, no, that was correct. So that's my fault. So, um, do not request information not needed for describer. Create a client input checklist from the service outline. All right, so yeah, my fault. That's the input checklist. Separate required before kickoff, useful context. So that's what it did. Required before kickoff, useful context and items to confirm. And it does not request information not needed for the described work. So excuse me. And it's following from the example earlier. So in the example that we've been using so far for today, it's discussing provide the um as you've seen in the prior examples, a lot of these things are repeated. Provide the 10 LinkedIn posts to be reviewed. That's a required before kickoff thing. Useful context is no additional context is specified in the service outline. We've discussed that as well. Items to confirm is confirm the 10 LinkedIn posts are the posts to be reviewed. Confirm the deliverable is a PDF and confirm the review will happen in one call. We literally discussed that within the past few prompts. So excuse me on that. That was already correct. In the past few days I've been trying to make sure ChatGPT fills in the information that I already spoke to it about, and I thought it didn't do that for a moment there, but it did. So for this one, it's going to be based on this is the next prompt. So based on these pasted note post excerpts, based only on these pasted post excerpts, write 5 observation-based audit notes. For each, there's a visible pattern, why it may affect clarity, and 1 question to explore. Do not claim results, diagnose the business, or recommend a tool. So do not claim results, do not diagnose the business, and do not recommend a tool. The excerpts so excuse me on that. I had ChatGPT fill this in for me as well with the example, so I had to I'm turning the screen down real quick so that when I pull it back up, it's going to show the prompt with the actual answer. So here's the same exact prompt right here, but this time we have the answer. So I'm going to read out the answer. Excuse me, just burp. So, like I said, based on only these pasted post excerpts, write 5 observation-based audit notes. For each, there's a visible pattern, there's why it may affect clarity, and there's 1 question to explore. It does not claim results, does not diagnose a business, and it does not recommend a tool. So 1 is messaging language, the visible pattern. So like I said, all these things have to address visible pattern, why it may affect clarity, and question to explore. So the visible pattern is several excerpts use broad phrases such as content strategy and content better. Now, why it may affect clarity, these phrases describe the topic without specifying the particular point being made. And then the question to explore is what specific message is being repeated across these posts. 2 is the repeated emphasis on clarity. So the visible pattern is clear and easy to understand and useful. The visible pattern is words clear, the words easy to the phrase easy to understand, and the word useful appear as reoccurring. That is, or these are reoccurring as these appear as reoccurring ideas, I should say, whether it was used as a specific word or not. Why it may affect clarity. Now, repeating similar concepts without a distinct point may make separate posts feel similar. And the question to explore is, which distinct idea is each post intended to communicate? Now, so 3 is general statements. The visible pattern is several excerpts make general statements about content and consistency. Why it may affect clarity. General statements can leave a reader unsure what specific point is the post. What specific point the post is addressing. The question to explore is, which distinct idea is each post intended to communicate? Now 3 is general statements. The visible pattern is several excerpts make general statements about content and consistency. Why it may affect clarity is general statements. Oh, okay. Excuse me. I just read that, so I'm not going to read that again. Excuse me on that. 4 is advice framing. Advice framing is 4 is advice framing, right? So the visible pattern is one excerpt introduces 3 ways to improve content. The next point is why it may affect clarity. The excerpt does not show what makes those 3 ways distinct from broader content advice in other posts. And the question to explore is, excuse me, how does this post specific advice differ from the other content guidance? Now, 5 is strategy terminology. The visible pattern is content strategy appears more than once. Why it may affect clarity. Repeated use of, repeated use of the same term may make it difficult to tell whether posts are discussing the same idea or a different one, or different ones. The question to explore is, what does each post specifically mean by content strategy? So again, literally all these things I just read off, it showcased that based on only these pasted post excerpts, write 5 observation-based audit notes. And for each, it described the visible pattern, why it may affect clarity, and one question to explore. And it does not claim results, and it does not diagnose a business or recommend a tool. It just only addresses the 3 points that we asked it to. And then for the 5th prompt, or the next prompt, so draft a concise post call follow-up from these notes. Use headings. So the headings are confirmed, still to confirm, next step. Okay, let me just say it like this, right? The headings are, there's a heading called confirmed, there's a heading called still to confirm, there's a heading called next step. Do not turn unconfirmed timing, price, or access into an agreement. Okay, you're not turning unconfirmed things into any part of the agreement, as I explained before. It's not a good idea. It just makes no sense to do that. And then the notes are, the client once LinkedIn audit and 30-minute walkthrough. They may share 10 posts. The budget and start date were not discussed. I said I would send a service outline. So that's the notes that we're going to work with, right, regarding this. So here's the thing. What we have confirmed is you're interested in a LinkedIn audit and a 30-minute walkthrough. What's also confirmed is you may share 10 LinkedIn posts for the audit. Those are the two things that are confirmed based on the notes that I just read, right? What's still to confirm is whether you'll provide the 10 posts. And what's still to confirm is also budget and start date were not discussed, obviously. And then the next step is I'll send over a service outline for review, aka the outline of what the service is going to be at all, literally, in any way, shape, or form. So that So that's already like we said from the notes, it needs to draft a concise post, call, follow up from these notes, use headings. The headings are obviously going to be confirmed. The next heading is still to confirm, and the heading after that is next step. And it does not do not turn unconfirmed timing, price, or access into an agreement. And that's exactly what it did. As I read these off, and the still confirm and next step, based off of what was said in the notes, it literally addressed every single one of those things. Literally every single sentence was addressed in one of these things, as I just read off. So that's that for today. All 5 prompts that I used for the short forms were actually used to show the entire system being used together. This is literally an entire system you can use to onboard somebody or construct your offer properly with somebody that you're going to work with. And I showed you all the steps that can be utilized to do all this properly. You can obviously just know how to do this because you've been doing it for a while and you tried marketing and you've probably figured out exactly how you have to word your stuff and structure your stuff and when to say what and where you should be discussing certain things in the conversation, or how important it is to make sure that they understand certain things and the value that you can bring. And maybe you get to your own point, but here's a way to do it as well, so that you can take out all the guesswork and actually just understand a process that actually does work, where you're being clear and they're getting the clarity they need, and they can just decide, obviously, right? So if you like access to high quality prompts like this, and even systems, obviously, and more, you can find them inside Promptify. It's free to start, and the link is in the bio. Now, if there's anything I said today if there's anything I said today that has been helpful for you, that is amazing, and I hope you have a great day.